Hello, kindergarten families. Based on feedback from our parent survey, I wanted to create another video to outline our new curriculum and what is coming up for the remainder of the year for our kindergartners. We are sending this video out in February because we needed to take a few months to implement the curriculum and learn the ins and outs before we could present it to our families. In this video, I will start out by talking about why we've changed the curriculum. Then we will look at what EL brings to the equation and what the day-to-day instruction format looks like. Then we will look at the final 2 modules of the year and what you can expect from those. And finally, I will speak a little about what you can do at home to support your child's learning. So first, why did CMS change the curriculum? For about 10 years, most schools in CMS use what was known as a balanced literacy framework. The general idea of the framework was a short mini lesson on a particular reading skill and then a small group rotations where the teacher could meet individually with the readers or small groups of readers. While there were resources for teachers, most teachers were left to find resources, texts, and activities for the students to complete. While there are certainly benefits to the balanced literacy framework, it required teachers to spend a lot of their personal time and planning time gathering resources and creating learning progressions. Unfortunately, this led to a lack of coherence and stability in instruction, leading to inequitable outcomes for all students. Additionally, students in the early grades in many classrooms were not provided adequate phonics instruction, vocabulary, and word study, leading to difficulty with spelling and decoding unfamiliar words in later grades. We knew we needed a coherent curriculum that explicitly taught phonics to our K-2 students, which led to the district choosing EL education. So why did CMS choose EL? What's so special about this curriculum? Well, in my opinion, EL brings these important components to the learning that were missing under the balanced literacy framework. First, in K2, there's an hour-long block dedicated to teaching important reading skills such as letter sounds, spelling conventions, and prefixes and suffixes. And this block is every day. Students are assessed on their ability to decode and spell words, and instruction is provided at their specific level called a microphase. Your teacher can provide you more information about your student's microphase and what that means. The next benefit is a coherent learning path around a specific topic. This year, your students have learned important vocabulary and background knowledge about toys and weather. Each day, we teach a module lesson that centers around a complex text and focuses on teaching important vocabulary and background knowledge about an engaging topic. Our first kindergarten module was about toys and play, and right now we're wrapping up a module on weather. Hopefully your students have been able to tell you about the weather and discuss the text being read in class, like Brave Irene, Snowy Day, and Come On Rain. Next, there's an explicit focus on how to write using the texts being read in class. Our kindergartners have completed their own weather story recently and used the text Snowy Day to create their character, setting, and conflict in their story. This kind of intentional writing has been missing under previous curricula. Next, there's a balance of fiction and nonfiction texts. We used to teach entire units around fictional texts and then do a separate unit on nonfiction text. Now we center our units around topics rather than these types of texts, which brings a balance to the types of texts we teach, as well as maintaining our focus on building background knowledge around an engaging topic. Next, as one principal told me recently, our teachers are not curriculum developers. They are teachers. This curriculum provides our teachers and students with a variety of graphic organizers and supports for all students to be able to be successful. And finally, the curriculum intentionally embeds what they call habits of character into each lesson. Specifically, kindergartners work to become effective learners by developing initiative, responsibility, perseverance, and collaboration, and work to become ethical people by developing empathy, integrity, respect, and compassion. So what does a day look like? Our kindergartners begin their day with a module lesson in a whole group setting. These are activities embedded in the lesson, such as opportunities to talk, write, and to reflect on their learning, so it is not an hour of sitting and listening to the teacher talk. As I said before, this quarter, they have been learning about the weather and meteorology, and then in the third quarter, they'll be learning about trees, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. After the module lesson, they participate in a skills block lesson, which consists of a 15-minute whole group lesson about letter sounds and decoding words. After that lesson, the teacher facilitates small group lessons based on the student's microphase, so we can target exactly what those students need to reach their next phase of reading. I don't want to go into too much detail about the microphases here, so please reach out to your teacher about your child's microphase and what that reveals about them as a reader. While the teacher is meeting with a small group, the other students are working on word work, accountable independent reading, writing, or reading fluency with a partner. And finally, we have a labs block at the end of the day where the students have the opportunity to create, engineer, imagine, or research about their particular topic. This injects a fun element into the day and gives students an opportunity to be more hands-on in their learning. So there's a lot of time dedicated to literacy each day, all around a specific and engaging topic. So, what does this look like for the rest of the year in kindergarten? We've just wrapped up our current weather unit. Our students have a performance task where they're writing a narrative about a character's experience with weather using the book Snowy Day as a reference. In modules 3 and 4, there's an overarching focus on trees. Module 3 is a study of living things and non-living things and how trees and plants specifically support all living things in the world. In Module 4, students will investigate how trees and plants are important to our communities. At the end of Module 3, students will create a collage about trees, what trees need to survive, and the animals that it supports. In Module 4, students develop an opinion piece about trees and create artwork about a specific physical component about trees. In our skills block, we will move past individual consonant sounds to two letters that make one sound, like sh, f, and ch, as well as a more structured look at short vowel sounds. In the fourth quarter, we'll look at common endings, long vowel sounds, and R-controlled vowels. Now, if you're listening and thinking, my child knows all this stuff already, why are we wasting their time teaching them skills and things that they already know? Remember that the direct instruction part of skills block is only 15 minutes, and the remaining 45 minutes are geared towards individualizing activities in small group instruction. Your child will likely be introduced to more complex conventions and more complex texts during this time. So finally, how can you support your child's learning at home? As the parent of a kindergartner myself, I think through the same thing. There are 3 things you could do at home to support the classroom learning and literacy. You can ask your child about the module topic, which will be trees. You can ask your students about the specific text that they're reading in class. And you can continue to read with your children at home each night before bed. Ask them questions about the characters, the setting, and how the characters are responding to problems in the text. That will be the best way to support the learning happening in the classroom and embed the learning into their life outside of school. Thank you for watching this video, taking the time out of your day to do it. As always, if you have any more questions or want more information about the curriculum, you can always reach out to me via email or your classroom teacher. And I invite you to join us on February 20th for our spaghetti dinner, while I'll be presenting about mathematics and answering any questions that you may have regarding the curriculum or anything else involving our students and our families.